Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Has the new SmackDown character been revealed? I am Chopper Peakmanel. This is Randy Andy Datson. Welcome to the WrestleTalk podcast review of SmackDown, and I'm sure Datson will be emoting more than this when we actually get into the review.
Yes.
Before we get into it though, please give us a like and a subscribe, have yourself a thumbs up party, and you can dance like on the t-shirt. Dance Chopper, it's a thing now. WrestleTalkmerch.com. Go get your own version of it. What are you doing? Oh my god, you're weird. Yeah, go do the thing with the stuff. Anyway, let's talk about SmackDown. Let's talk about this character that seems to have been possibly revealed on this show. So last week we mentioned, it was actually the title of the stream last week, was this new character being teased on SmackDown. There were some glitchy effects that came across the screen during the episode last week. And there was more of it this week, but much more of it. There was.
Oh, yes.
It wasn't just little glitches in the corner of the screen. This was. It took over the whole screen for about a second.
Yes.
Glitches came over the screen. The first one we saw, it was just like it came up with a load of blue glitchy effects, and then it came up with like the symbol for like an email or a text message.
Like
it's just like an envelope.
Like on your iPhone.
Yeah, yeah.
Or your Android phone. You will like a little envelope message. You'd click on it, you'd get an email, and it was from Amazon saying, here's the latest Prime deals.
We do know how emails work, Datson.
So basically, email stands for electronic mail. And then there was a second one later in the show, which seemed to reveal who this was. I mean, you didn't.
Yes.
A lot of people saying, "Oh, it's so obvious," and when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, I think I know who this is now."
Yeah.
And then I told you, you were like, "Oh, I didn't see that."
Yeah.
Because in your review, you kind of go, "Oh, there was glitches again."
I actually
who could
didn't
it be?
spot it. Mainly because while I'm watching SmackDown, I'm also writing notes and partially writing my review at the same time. So there might be some things that I miss on the screen. But yeah, I missed this next one that happened, which was glitchy effect came up again. And it was a circle, like a blue lighted circle with a lot of tiny little blue lights in a circle, which some people might recognize
as Iron Man.
Yeah, it's Iron Man. He's coming to SmackDown.
Yeah. After Endgame, I'm assuming this was the obvious.
Yeah, it's the obvious way forward, I think. Also, it's been seen on Mustafa Ali, on his little hand thing that he goes that has the lights on it, and it does the lighty uppy thing. So this very well may be kind of like a revamped character for Mustafa Ali.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% certain it is. I know it looks very much like his thing, and it's totally possible that it is. It's not like confirmed that it is, though. There's still a part of me that's just like, why is there emails? We have a whole storyline going on about text messages right now with Otis and Mandy Rose. So it's like...
Do you reckon it's Sonya Deville?
I don't know. It could be someone else at some sort of like hacker thing, and this is just like... This is their first victim, and then they're going to go and do something else. There's going to be another storyline about text messages soon, and it's going to be someone else doing a new thing. It still could be Killer Cross. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know where they're going. But if it is Mustafa Ali, though, I am quite excited for that. Because it seems like they're dedicating a bit of time to it. They're doing some really cool teasers for it. So I'm hoping that when he comes back, it's going to be kind of a big deal. They'll treat him properly. Maybe he can have like an IC title run, something like that.
What he needs to do is go away and just get like super jacked. I mean, he's not unjacked now, but
he's very jacked now.
He should just grow chest hair, because that's what Drew McIntyre did. And now he's probably going to win the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. So, and just take him away from it. Come back, loads of chest hair.
It's what Ciampa did as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like super big moustache.
Handlebar.
Yeah, maybe some back hair. Just let it grow.
Back hair. Some back hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got that.
I do have that. Yeah.
Hey, ladies.
This is what you came to the WrestleTalk podcast for.
But yeah, I would. Yeah, I mean, I didn't want it to be him, but now that it is him, I'm kind of like, okay, well, yeah, like you said, they're clearly putting a bit of thought into it. At least, well, they're doing something.
Yes.
Which is more than they've done with him a lot in the past.
Exactly.
I mean, he's had those sort of promos where he was standing out under a street light and looking moody and kind of it looked like a sort of Coldplay album sort of thing. But yeah, no, to me it looked quite obviously like it's him, just because like I've never seen that symbol on WWE apart from on his hand, and he hasn't been on TV for a few weeks.
Yeah.
It would seem like this is what's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if for example, I don't know, something else happens next week and then he gets inserted into the Elimination Chamber or something like that, has a good showing there.
Yeah.
Loses to Reigns as the last man.
There might be something that happens, which we'll get into later in the show, that might actually be ruling out one of the people in the Elimination Chamber, which might leave a slot open for this new Mustafa Ali to come in, because it was Elimination Chamber last year when he should have had that spot when he got injured and Kofi Kingston replaced him, going on to have Kofi Mania.
Yes.
So perhaps this new thing is Mustafa Ali coming back and being like, this is my spot that I should have had. This is where I'm going to go, and this is where I start my new redemption story of being like, this is my spot from last year, I'm taking it now.
That would make sense. Gauntlet match.
Yeah.
But as we saw later in the show, Sheamus kind of ruined, because there was a few weeks ago, there was a lineup for the Elimination Chamber. I think it was Braun, Roman, Bryan, Rude, Corbin and Nakamura.
Shinsuke, yeah.
And Sheamus has announced himself for it, so that was obviously just like to try and shift some tickets. So it'd be interesting to see what the rest of the actual makeup of the match is going to be.
Yes, for sure. But before we get into a full review of the show, leave a comment down below letting us know what you think this new character is, or if you're excited, if it is Mustafa Ali, what you think it could be, or if you're excited for it. Before we get into the full review of the show, just want to have a quick plug for Parts Unknown, which is our new channel that we've revamped. It used to be Screen Stalker, it's now Parts Unknown, which is going to be focusing on wrestling content, but kind of different wrestling content. So on WrestleTalk, here on WrestleTalk, we're going to be doing our news and reviews, and those won't change. We're still doing all of that. But over on Parts Unknown, we're going to have more stuff that's kind of higher production, higher quality, stuff we're putting a bit more time into, stuff that's more fun, a bit more informative, things like that. For example, Adam Blumpier's fantasy booking videos are going to be over on Parts Unknown. First one is up already, which is Kurt Angle's illegitimate son and how he'd do it better. Wink, ding.
Because he's
a, you know.
Clever bottom.
Yep. So go over and watch that one now and give us a subscribe over there. We've got loads of really, really cool series coming to that channel, which I'm really excited for. Absolutely. Screen Grapple's coming back, which is great. We've got an explained series, which looks like kind of the history of pro wrestling, and that's going to have a ton put into it. We've got another series, which we haven't announced yet, which I'm so excited for. We've put so much effort into it. I really, really cannot wait for it. That's going to be on that channel too. So go over there and give it a subscribe. Watch Adam's fantasy booking video. It's great. Please, thanks. But now, let's get into the full review of SmackDown. Stop doing that. That's weird.
Magic.
The Usos started off this episode of SmackDown coming out and being like, we're cool. Do you know who else is cool? Our tag partners. The location.
Everybody's cool.
Yeah, and then New Day come out and they kind of go back and forth with the Usos being like, you're awesome. No, you're awesome. You're 6-time champs. But then there was a little bit of a tease of like a future match at some point when, Usos were just like, hey man, we can do this again sometime. And New Day was just like, you're 6-time champions. That's one less than us, which means we're better than you. Mic drop. They didn't drop the mic, but...
No, they go like, you so cool. No,
that's a really bad pun. That wasn't even
laboured. I haven't even written that one down.
That's laboured. Yeah. Really laboured.
There are some better ones later.
Yeah, great. Can't wait. But then, they kind of go back and forth for a bit, but it's set up as an 8-man tag, and then Miz and Morrison come out and just be like, oh yeah, it's great you guys want to have another match, but you won't have it because we're going to win the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match.
You suck.
It was Super Showdown.
It basically, it turned from, you're cool, no, you're cool, I'll stop it, to, none of you are actually cool, and do you know who is cool? Our tag partners. No.
Who, sorry?
Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode.
There we go,
the most uninspiring tag team since, I don't know, Deuce and Domino.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Tag Team. All 8 of them come out. Miz and Morrison tried to get over a stupid chant, catchphrase thing.
Yeah, Miz and Morrison.
Hoo ha ha or something like that. It was weird. Yeah. It was supposed to be stupid and obviously not supposed to get over, but it was quite funny. But then the match itself was perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. There was some fun babyface comeback stuff. Lots of counters and roll-ups.
Hey Pete, guess who took the pin?
Well, I'm going to have a wild guess here. Bearing in mind I've watched the show.
Yeah.
It's not going to be any of the faces. It's not going to be the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. They've been protecting the Usos a lot. On the heel side...
Usos aren't the champions.
They're not going to have the SmackDown Tag Team Champions lose, and they've been protecting the Usos a lot.
I didn't hear the and.
And then they've got, on the heel side, they've got Miz and Morrison, who are #1 contenders to the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And then you've got Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. Dolph Ziggler is embroiled in a storyline along with Mandy Rose and Otis right now, which leaves literally one person that could take the pin. Going to have a wild guess it was Robert Roode.
It was the same person who's taken the pin since he was suspended for his wellness.
That's what he
violation.
does. Just not as good as Mark Henry doing that.
No.
Yeah. The match itself was fine. Lots of super kicks at the end. Usos pick up the win over Robert Roode. They all kind of, the 4 babyfaces stand tall at the end. It's like, New Day picking up momentum. Like, well, the Usos won, but sure. But then we get backstage. We get Daniel Bryan is accosted by Drew Gulak, of all people.
Yes. He is wearing a T-shirt that says VES. That T-shirt does not say yes on it. It kind of, the bottom of the Y disappears very quickly, and it just goes, VES. But yeah, he gets accosted by Drew Gulak, who sort of says, you suck. Why were you mean to Heath Slater? And then Heath Slater's like, who said my name?
That's not exactly what he said. He said, you've got some holes in your game plan, which I could help you with. I watched your match against The Fiend, and even in your match against Heath Slater last week, even though he completely dominated and Heath Slater didn't get in one move.
It was the week before.
Yep.
Yeah.
That one. And he was saying, you've got some holes in your game plan. I've made a PowerPoint presentation of how you can not be bad.
Yes.
And Heath Slater was also there, and he was like, hey, someone say my name. I want a rematch because you stomped my face in. And Daniel Bryan was like, yeah, sure, we can do that. And also, Drew, why don't you help Heath with your PowerPoint presentation?
The Mega Powers have teamed up, finally. It's Heath Slater and Drew Gulak. They are going to take over SmackDown. I reckon the whole glitch thing is Heath Slater and Drew Gulak, and then they're going to implode, and it's going to be Heath Slater, Drew Gulak, WrestleMania main event.
So then Gulak, at the very end of the segment, turns to Heath Slater and is just like, well, there's not much time, but I think one of the most important things, and then like this segment cuts off, which is nice. It was nice that they didn't have the awkward thing where they just go, and just look at each other.
No, that's what the
as
girls
the camera
do.
stays on them way too long, and then it just kind of fades off. It was nice to see them actually talking. We get a recap video of the whole of the Otis thing from last week. The romance story from the start and the events of last week, which is literally the most heartbreaking story in the history of the world. And then backstage, we've got Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. Tucker approaches both of them, and he lays into Mandy Rose.
He is not happy.
He's not happy at all.
I don't blame him. If my friend
absolutely
got stood up for a date, I would feel exactly the same. I'd go, what are you doing?
What are you playing at?
You planned this whole thing with him.
Yeah.
And last week we said, we think Dolph Ziggler was behind this sort of text saying, I'm running late. But no, we don't think it is him anymore.
Not anymore, because as Tucker comes in, he starts to say to Mandy Rose, he's like, Mandy, got some things I need to say to you. Sonya Deville tries to interject and just be like, hey, Tucker, I don't think now is the right time to talk about this. And Tucker's like, no, now is exactly the time to talk about this. He goes in, he said, this is the sweetest man he knows, and you hurt my friend.
He bought new underwear.
He bought you underwear for this. Crazy. And then he says, why would you set this up to then invite Dolph Ziggler as well? And Mandy was like, hey, I just bumped into Dolph after Otis didn't show up. Like, I didn't plan that.
Yeah.
And then Tucker was like, well, why did you send a text message saying that you were running late when you weren't? And Mandy was just like,
What text message?
What text message? She doesn't know anything about it. Which means someone else sent Otis that text message off Mandy's phone, who's with Mandy all the time and is and can have access to her phone to send a text message to Otis. Only the person who then later says that Dolph Ziggler is more Mandy Rose's type. I've cracked the case.
That means...
Watson? Datson?
Watson.
Dotson?
No poo, Sherlock. But so she would have had to know Mandy's passcode, first of all, and then she would have had to send the message, wait till it said delivered, and then delete the message so that no one could see. Because otherwise Mandy would be able to see it.
Possible.
So I'm a hacker, so I know all these things.
Yeah. Leet hacksaw.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hacksaw Jim Datson. It's got to be Sonya Deville So they are, for the 19th
Sonya
time...
is behind it all.
For the 19th time, they are teasing a breakup between Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, which is ironic because she is trying to break up Mandy Rose and Otis.
I know. Crazy. I bloody love this story.
Yeah?
It's so stupid. I love it.
It's just incredibly, like, Only Way is Essex, Jersey Shore. I'm trying to think of an American thing. Like, just kind of, oh, you text my boyfriend? No, they don't tell
That's
that.
literally...
That's not Jersey, is it?
That's not The Only Way is Essex, and nor is it Jersey Shore. That was Texas.
Jersey. What's that? That's like...
Snooky.
Perfect.
That was bad. Anyway.
Pastrami.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's Sonya Deville. She's the mastermind behind the whole thing. Possibly planning it with Dolph, maybe, because I think the reasoning behind it is going to be that Otis is just a distraction to Mandy. She doesn't know what's right. They need to take the women's division by force, and Mandy's getting sidetracked with this whole Otis thing. She needs to focus on fighting, and you know what? She's kind of right, but not the point.
She is a Sonya Devil.
After that, we got a Lacey Evans interview with Renee Young.
I hated this.
Which was really bad.
I hated this. Like, I didn't mind the show as a whole. I hated this.
Yeah.
Renee is usually really good, but something didn't work here.
Both of them felt very awkward.
You used to be a bully. Oh no, I call everybody nasties. You're nasty. And it was kind of, right, so you're basically...
So you're still a bully.
You're just excusing yourself for being a bully. If what you're supposed to do there, if you're a babyface, is then, yeah, I was wrong. I was the wrong. But you're like, shut up, Renee.
Yeah, no,
you just don't understand my lingo.
Yeah, that's literally what she was saying.
I thought this was really weak.
It was awkwardly scripted,
Yeah.
awkwardly filmed. The two didn't bounce off each other very well at all, and she didn't add any layers to her character whatsoever. This didn't further her character. This didn't further a feud. This was just her being like, I lost to a bully.
Basically,
Sasha Banks and Bayley are bullies. I don't like bullies. It was like, oh my God, we've heard this like 7 times
The stage direction
already.
beforehand was, Lacey, be as southern as humanly possible during this thing. Yeah. Have a fan. And I really don't like when like Renee Young goes, here is the sexy, southern, classy, southern, sexy belle.
Yep,
and
that's her.
Why would you describe someone sitting next to you as sexy?
I don't know. It's weird,
I don't. This podcast, you don't go. And here's the southern sexy Andy. Like, I feel like, first of all, I mean, I know
that is how I'm going to introduce you next week. Just
but
so you know.
I am southern. I'm south of London. I think.
South of London, yeah. So I mean, like overall, this was very pointless. But the one thing that did come out of it was that she announced herself for the Women's Elimination Chamber match.
Yes, the first person to do so.
First person to do so. So she's sort of in the title picture, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think she's going to win. I still think they're going to... The reported plan is it's still going to be Naomi Bayley at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So she's just a person. I think she's just a body to be in the match.
Yeah.
After that, then, we get the Symphony of Destruction match, which is a Falls Count Anywhere match. No DQs, but with musical instruments all around it. But also, it's a tag match, and you have to make legal tags in a no DQ match.
I think this could be instrumental in getting Elias over as a babyface. You wait, this match is absolutely full.
I bet it was.
Yeah.
So this was Braun Strowman and Elias versus the other two, Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn was also there. And this was just bonkers. This was just straight up goofy nonsense fun with musical instrument spots and a load of crazy destruction stuff. It was crazy. It was nuts.
It was. And there was something very penis jokey about Sami Zayn was holding his little ukulele.
Yes,
and
totally.
out comes Braun with his giant double bass, and it's kind of like...
It's a euphemism.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there was a bit where was it Cesaro hit? Who was it he hit with the keyboard?
I don't know.
Well, either way, it was a key moment in the match.
Oh God! You only said that just to make the pun.
And there was Strowman got suplexed through bass.
Yep.
There was a euphonium, which I always thought, I was like, someone's got to use it. That was the big tuba thing. But it was a euphonium. Tubas are bigger. But yeah, and it was mental.
It was
just
absolutely mental.
How many things could we hit each other with in 5 minutes?
There was table spots. There was all sorts of craziness going on.
Yeah, but it really the ending was kind of fun, but pretty nasty as well.
Yeah, it looked pretty unfortunate because I think the spot in mind was a very fun spot, which was Braun Strowman and Shinsuke Nakamura on the commentary table, and there's a piano next to it, and Braun Strowman power slammed Shinsuke from the commentary table on top of a piano, which is a very fun spot. However, I think something went a little bit wrong in it, because as soon as they landed, like the piano kind of dented in the middle. Shinsuke immediately grabs the back of his head.
He hit his head right on the corner.
Yeah, right on the corner of it. Immediately grabs his head. He rolls off and he gets pinned on the floor by Strowman. And then as they kind of pan away from the camera, you can see Shinsuke kind of holding his head, looking at his hand, and it's just covered in blood.
Yeah.
So I really hope he's okay. That seems like that could be a prime contender for a concussion, which I really hope he's not got. So fingers crossed he's okay from that.
It'll be. I don't know. I think at least a lot of stitches. It didn't look like a kind of. It just looked like they get it to sort of hit the sharp edge rather than actual sort of concussion.
Yeah, maybe it was more like a scrape across it rather than a forceful impact. But
yeah, no. Do you know what I was really disappointed at? Like, because they did one thing with the drum. Like, but I just feel like they could have. I don't know. Braun could have just started playing afterwards. I feel like it could have been a real symbol of hope.
I hate you so much.
Yeah. But no, I actually genuinely think that would have been quite fun if he just started
doing a
drum solo.
So Braun Strowman and Elias pick up the win on that one. And then we get a Baron Corbin backstage promo, which is every promo that Baron Corbin has ever done about Roman Reigns. Yeah. It's the same promo. Bow down to the king, I'm better than you. Where are you going?
I was going to do a Kayla Braxton impression. Because it was kind of literally like...
This is great audio content for our podcast listeners.
It was sort of, she had a microphone and it was kind of, how does it feel being the tall one, Pete?
This is weird.
It was literally like that. But did you hear that on the promo package beforehand, Michael Cole goes, they've been feuding for 6 months. And I was like, I know! We know!
They've been feuding for 6 months. It feels like 6 years. Corbin did a promo. It's exactly the same promo that you would have heard 100 times before. Really boring, doesn't further anything. Can this feud please bloody end? Anyway, hopefully it can on Thursday. Then we get a moment of bliss with Alexa Bliss. She brings out the Bella Twins.
Where was Nikki Cross?
For some reason, they announced the segment and they said Bella Twins are coming on a moment of bliss, and they had the graphic with Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss and the Bella Twins, and then they tweet it out later being like, the Bella Twins are coming on a moment of bliss with Alexa Bliss. Full stop. Like, well, where's Nikki Cross?
Well, it ruined my time.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't do it. Now you don't have a reason to do it.
Exactly.
Bella Twins come out. They get officially announced for the Hall of Fame class of 2020. They say a bunch of stuff about the Bella Army and
all the barriers they've knocked down.
Yeah.
What? Which ones?
They were popular. I don't know if that counts as barriers, but sure.
I just thought that was silly. So yeah, they just kind of said some stuff, and then I just thought it was funny because then Daniel Bryan's music starts playing, and he's like, "Oh, here's a baby." I'm just going to go beat the absolute living crap out of this guy, this
wasn't
jobber.
A random baby. It was their daughter. No.
That was Lacey Evans' baby. That's why Lacey Evans was so annoyed earlier.
Bryan came out, they kissed, handed over Birdie to Brie, and then went down to the ring and had his match with Heath Slater with Drew Gulak on commentary, who was pointing out Bryan's weak points. And Heath Slater got a surprising amount of offense in this match, which kind of played into the fact that Drew Gulak does know what he's talking about. Daniel Bryan does have weak points, but Heath Slater just couldn't execute his plan fully enough. But then Heath Slater goes to the top rope to try and do something, and Gulak's like, no, this wasn't part of the plan. Why are you going to the top? Heath Slater attempts to hit a splash. He misses. Daniel Bryan takes control, hits a running knee, and wins. It was fine. I don't know where this is going. This is going to be a Bryan Gulak feud. I'd like that. But they need to portray Gulak as more than a comedy character, otherwise it wouldn't really work. Yeah. But I'd be into it. But then backstage afterwards, we have Mandy Rose, who is looking to leave the arena. Dolph Ziggler comes over and he's just like, hey, why don't you come with me? We can give you a lift. And then she's like, yeah, sure, whatever.
I really don't like her
Why
in
not?
this because, like, he's the bad guy in this whole thing. And she's like, oh, no, I like her. She's like, well, stop hanging out with this guy then.
She's allowed to hang out with her friends,
No,
Datson.
but he's hitting on her.
How do you know that?
I mean, he's turning up at restaurants and putting his hand on her shoulder.
He bumped into her. From her perspective.
Where was he? Why was he there? Was he
Who
just there
knows?
for a meal on his
He
own?
gave her an excuse that we haven't seen on screen.
I think it's wrong. And Mandy, you're acting wrong. Towards Otis.
I think she's fine. She's hanging out with someone that she feels like is her friend in Dolph Ziggler. Even though we can see what Dolph's doing, she can't see that.
What's it called? It's when the audience can see what's going on. But
Oh, it's a term, isn't it? That's really annoying, because I do know it. Nope.
Stage.
Dramatic irony.
That's the one.
Dramatic irony.
Stage.
When when the audience knows something that the performers don't, the actors don't. Yes. So, but then after they leave together, they just kind of head on out from the thing. Otis comes out
hiding behind a box.
behind a crate.
Yeah.
Just comes out, hair in front of his face, looking really dishevelled. Kind of saunters up.
Yeah.
It looked awesome. Depressed Otis is awesome. I really love the story.
Yeah.
My poor heart breaks for Otis, and I love it. Sheamus cuts a promo in a dark room again.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the feud with Shorty G seems to be over, ? And he enters himself into the Elimination Chamber.
So he is the first male star to do that?
I believe so.
I mean, Roman's going to be in it.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, he's the first one in it. So him and Lacey are now the first two kind of
Believe
in
so,
their
yes.
respective chambers.
But then after that, we get Apollo Crews is watching that promo backstage, watching it on a monitor and being like, that's bad, I don't like him. Shorty G comes in, who, of course, Sheamus beat Shorty G and Apollo Crews last week. He beat them together last week as well. And Shorty G comes in, he goes, hey man, don't get yourself down. Pep talk stuff, we're great. We can bounce back from this. May not have been the best moment for us last week, but you know what? We're great. And Apollo cuts him off and just be like, hey, I don't need your pep talk. You can deal with Sheamus in your way, and I'll deal with him in my way. And then he walks off. He didn't smile once during this segment. So is this finally, this isn't a face turn, this isn't a heel turn. This is a character turn, because Apollo Crews might be getting a character for the first time ever. Hot damn.
Up until now, his character has been surprisingly athletic.
Which isn't really a character.
No.
Like, it can be a facet of it, like Keith Lee. But Apollo Crews was, man is big, man do flip.
Yes.
And that was it. So hopefully he actually has a character now moving forward. That would be good. And here's where I think that Sheamus is actually going to get written out of the Elimination Chamber match by Apollo Crews. Shorty G's going to be like, hey man, I'm going to be great. And Apollo Crews is like, I actually hate you, screw you, and he's going to beat him up. Which leaves the slot open for Mustafa Ali to slide back in and be like, hey man, why don't I take this spot?
I reckon one of Apollo or Shorty G will successfully kind of enter themselves into the chamber and be like, oh, it's a huge moment. They'll get a bit of a run, but then they'll be taken out. Maybe they'll roll up Sheamus or something like that in the chamber.
Yeah, it's possible.
But one of the maybe there'll be like a qualifying match between those two. Maybe they have a bit more kind of back and forth next week, and then the week after it's kind of like, okay, well next week you and I go 1-on-1. The winner gets the Elimination Chamber spot. I'd prefer it if it was Shorty G.
Yes.
Chad Gable,
not Shorty G. But yes, then we get the number one contendership match for Bayley SmackDown Women's Championship between Naomi and Carmella. This is for the match at Super Showdown on Thursday. Bayley was at ringside for this one. She eventually got ejected from the match when she tried to stop Naomi from winning in particular. I think because in her mind, she already beat Carmella, so she could beat her again. She's more scared of Naomi, which was good storytelling. Bayley starts to interfere, she gets ejected, and eventually Naomi wins. This was a little bit of a sloppy match, which is unfortunate because they're both actually pretty good in-ring performers.
It wasn't great. There were a lot of just roll-ups, which just kind of felt like they'd forgotten what they were doing. And there was one bit at the start where she just kind of grabbed her leg, and they just stood there for a bit. And you could tell they were going, "Oh crap! What's next?"
Yeah.
And there was some missed kicks. There was a dodgy pin.
Yeah.
But Naomi won with her split leg kind of moonsault thingy, which is fine. She's the better wrestler, and hopefully it'll be a better match.
Yes, hopefully so. Bayley versus Naomi happening at Super Showdown on Thursday in Saudi Arabia. But then final segment of the show was Goldberg, who'd been teased throughout the whole show. He actually made an appearance in person.
Dude.
Came out full pizzazz, pyro, full music entrance, came out, did his whole shtick. Came out into the ring and was just like, "Hey man, it's been a while since I've been on SmackDown." Has he ever been on SmackDown before?
Yeah, in the old days. But it was his Fox debut. That's what they kept pushing.
Fox debut.
Yeah.
He comes out and he says, "I'm going to take my sweet time. Hey, Fiend," and then gets cut off. So, not too much time. Gets interrupted by a Firefly Funhouse. Bray Wyatt's like, "Hey, there's some people I want you to meet." And he introduces all of his puppets. This is Evan go, "Hey, Bill, hey, Billy Boy," etc. He goes, "Oh, and there's one more person that I want you to meet." Lights cut out. Fiend is in the ring. Goldberg still looking at the Titantron and just goes, "You're behind me, aren't you?"
Oh, there's the Fiend, and he's behind me.
Yeah.
I think it was. And Goldberg immediately spears him.
Yep.
And interestingly, he sort of no-sold it, but also sold it.
He sold it, but I mean, like, he sold, like, the stomps and Daniel Bryan's running knees to a degree and then got up. Kind of the same thing with the spear here. Sold it, and then after like 5 seconds, he was getting back up onto his knees and kind of flicked his hair back and stared down Goldberg. Lights cut out, lights come back on, and he's gone. And that was the end of the show, really. Goldberg was like, "Rah."
So it sort of felt like, oh crap, okay, I have to think about this.
Possibly.
Now that he's sort of shown, okay, well that hurt.
Yeah.
A bit.
Yeah.
I'm not that bothered about this match. I hope that the Fiend wins because I just don't think Goldberg needs to be the champion. And
not at all.
I don't think he's willing to be a full-time champion.
No, exactly. Well, it wouldn't even be full-time. He'd just hold it until Mania, probably. But, for me, that kind of sums up this whole show, being like, I'm actually not more excited for Super Showdown out of this show. And
I was never going to be.
It's the go-home show for Super Showdown, and it hasn't made me excited at all. It was a perfectly average show. It built a couple of stories. It was kind of a mixed bag of promos and matches in terms of quality. Like, all of them were either really good or really bad or somewhere in the middle. It was just a really eclectic mix of things that happened throughout the whole show. 3 out of 5, I guess.
I'm giving it a high 2, a mid to high 2 out of 5. Like 2.5 out of 5, basically.
Yeah.
There was nothing wrong with it, but it didn't make me excited for anything, and we're just getting the same feuds.
Yeah. But Otis' story is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I will say that. But now, before we get on out of here, we've got to say thank you to some very special people, and they are our $25 and above pledge hammers on Patreon. So if you haven't gone over to our Patreon yet, patreon.com/WrestleTalk, go over there right now. You can get all sorts of extra bonus content. You get all sorts of really cool stuff, extra podcasts, extra cool things. And if you're at the $25 or above tier, you get a customized wrestling name, and it gets shouted out on a video, much like this one. So thank you to Ken. I'm not eligible to get a case of craft beer, De Leon.
Yeah.
Woo! And you get a cheap pop.
Manipulating Manny Umaria.
Woo, yes. Butter me up, Soren Nord.
I will butter you up. Jonathan, the Headmaster, Headman.
Oh, yes, thank you. Badasaurus Rex Joseph Calmeri.
Oh, what a name. Chris, Hellfire, Brimstone.
You rolled your R.
No, that was
You rolled your R.
That was the speech impediment.
You rolled your R.
What's the last one, Pete?
You're banned from rolling R's, Datson.
No.
And finally, he's a sexy man. Not an Andrew Gross man.
Yeah, wunderbar.
Thank you very much to all our pledge hammers, and thank you for watching. Please rest videos that have just appeared on the screen right now to catch up with the latest awesome Wrestle Talk things, and one of the buttons on the screen that'll make you a pledge hammer on Patreon as well. And go over and subscribe to Parts Far Known, link is in the description as well, and go and watch Adam Blompier's first fantasy booking over there too, and go to WrestleTalkLive.com, and go to WrestleTalkMerch.com, and do all sorts of other things that you should do, like and subscribe and all that stuff too. I've been Joe Piquino, and this has been Randy and Datson, and that was SmackDown